All right, what is going on? Cali Cowboy here, coming at you a day before the draft, and I'm excited. I managed to get the day off of work, so I will be, tweeting, possibly live stream, see how it goes, and I'm just excited, guys. This year, I don't know which position we're gonna go. We can go, anything from a wide receiver to a defensive lineman. Wide receiver, D line, linebacker, you know, might maybe even tight end. Who knows? But for me, I really hope it's a defensive player because that's the biggest need of a defensive, of a playmaker. We need a monster on the defensive side of the ball. We need someone like Zeke to be over there. You know what I'm saying? Um, a game changer. Our three biggest needs on the D line on the defense are right up the middle, D tackle, linebacker, safety, and we could of course use an edge rusher. We could use a cornerback, but I think we need to shore up that middle of the defense. If I have a feeling we're gonna trade up for some reason, I don't know why. I just have a gut feeling about it. I think we might trade up to like number 8, number 7, 7, 8, 9, something like that, to get Roquan. And Roquan, he's a bit undersized, but he's an all-around beast. He's fast, laterally fast. He has good instincts. And Sean Lee, he's about to be 31, turned 32. I forget how old he is, but he's in his 30s, early 30s, and we all know how much of an injury risk he is, unfortunately to say. But and we got Jalen Smith there, and everyone knows, well, no one knows how his knee will fire up, if it'll continue progressing or not. So I feel like we should draft, if we don't trade up. I'd love that we would trade up to get Roquan, but if we don't, then all the mock drafts are having us get that guy Leighton Vander Esch, 6'4", 250 linebacker. He looks like a solid guy. He could probably be a good, solid starter for us. But the thing that scares me is he has just a year of production in college. Just a 1 year, little flash in the pan. So that kind of scares me. I don't know. I don't want to just go after that and then have him be a bust player, be a Bobby Carpenter. That's what everyone's saying. He looks like, or just because he's white. A white linebacker. But that's kind of the pick that I see the Cowboys getting. I don't know, unfortunately, because I don't know him yet. But just off first glance, it would be my first preference. I'd rather get Rashaan Evans or who's that other linebacker? We're not going to get Edmonds from Virginia Tech because he'll go higher. But Roquan obviously would be the dream, but we might not trade up, but I have a feeling that we do. And if we don't go linebacker, I hope we go defensive tackle because I see some beasts at defensive tackle. And Vita Vea probably won't fall to us, but I really wish we can get him. I really wanted to get one of those big defensive tackles, ever since Nada, Donatari Poe, Star, that defensive tackle that the Panthers drafted. I've always wanted that anchor, that 300-pound, defensive beast, lineman beast, right there in the middle of the D line. So I'm hoping he could fall to us somehow, some way. If we don't, I do like that other Alabama player. He's oh, my battery almost died. Hand is one, and then there's another one, Deron Payne. Both of them are pretty good. I prefer Payne over Hand, and you can see a trend with the Alabama players. But usually Alabama has great players, so I would love to draft one of them as well. And of course safety, but safety's kind of weird this year. You got Derwin James at the top, but he's more looking like a box safety, a really good box safety, but they say that his instincts aren't quite there yet, and he's kind of a down the road, he's going to grow into eventually what he'll be, and they're projecting him as like a Mark Barron type player. And I don't think it's worth trading up for him. That he's projected to go, first 10 picks. So I'd rather get Roquan if we did that. So, but other than that, there are some other good players. My favorite player, probably third, fourth, fifth round, is Deshaun Elliott from Texas. The Joker is his nickname. I like that about him already. And watching his highlights, his first highlight I saw was just him blowing up some player at the line of scrimmage. And then continuing to watch, he has free safety skills. Looks like an all-around player, and I think he could be a steal for us. Hopefully, we get him in the later rounds. If not, Rashawn Golden, I believe, from Tennessee. He looks pretty good as well. So there's a few safeties down the line, down the draft, and I think we don't have to pin ourselves into trying to get Derwin James, and ultimately don't think we will. And lastly, wide receiver is the position that we could draft at 19. We can go Courtland Sutton, who's been rising recently. He's been rising up to the talk of us getting him at number 19. I don't know how, to me it appears, I don't think he's worth 19. He looks like a big, tall receiver. He can go snatch it. Looks like he uses his body well. But he was projected to be like a second. Started off as a third-round pick. Now he's projected to go number 1. Just reminds me of Byron Jones, how he was rising up the draft boards as as draft day got closer. So kind of scares me off a little bit. But he is a big receiver, but I don't know how much he'll fit in with this scheme, as a number 1 receiver. So Sutton's good, but I don't think I wouldn't prefer him. Calvin Ridley, he's the most popular receiver mocked to us, and I would like Ridley. I wouldn't mind it. He looks like a great route runner, something we could use. He can separate. Only knock on him is he's not a traditional X receiver, but maybe we're going into the philosophy where we don't want an X receiver. We just want receivers that can catch, separate, good route running, everything like that. All the fundamentals of a wide receiver to help out Dak. Not someone, that we have to have a focal point in the passing game. We want to distribute it evenly. That way we could set up the run that much better, have a lot more options. So Christian Kirk is another one that I like. And there's a bunch of wide receivers. Go do your homework, go do your research. There's a bunch of receivers, later in the rounds, and a bunch of receivers that the Cowboys visited with on 30-day visits. A lot of local guys, and I think we'll definitely come out of the draft with two, maybe 3. So my favorite, and I'm forgetting it at the moment. I'll save it for tomorrow. I'll make another video tomorrow, and I'll go into the wide receivers a little bit, a little deeper, and let you know some of my favorites as well as other positions. But day before the draft, I wanted to get a little video out for you guys, and yeah. So hit me up, guys. Hit me up on Twitter, Facebook. Like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I will see you tomorrow.